Back when the Switch came out, I'm pretty sure that everyone was just as confused as I was, because most were probably unsure whether this was going to be a Wii U or a brand new console, and that's pretty much been the speculation, whether games are ports or whether they're sequels or new things, like we've gotten Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, etc. And later on when it showed the multiple amount of sequels, this has proven itself as a awesome console. This was able to quickly compare to the Xbox One and the PS4, unlike the Wii U. But that's not what we're going to be talking about today. Today we are going to be talking about the top 10 ports that need to be on the Nintendo Switch. I am He-Man1010, and let's get this video started. Now who would have thought that a squirrel, a child-friendly one at that, who was racing alongside Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong, and had his child-friendly game on the Game Boy Color, would turn into the swearing, alcohol-abusing squirrel that we know and love today. You see, I've played myself enough of this game, and though you guys would say, oh, we got Conker Live and Reloaded, and you see, that was bad. Do you want another Conker Live and Reloaded? Well, as a fan of this stuff, I know that it was originally supposed to be less censored, if not uncensored. So, I feel like they need to get back onto that plan. Another thing, this game has had its many alternate endings, and it's had, many different things that you could be interested in. And so, when you have some good scenes, you end up having a lot of comedic stuff too. You think that after you've laughed enough, there's not going to be any more. The Great Mighty Pooh. Right after the Great Mighty Pooh, you think it can't get funnier than that, and then right afterwards, you end up hearing the, guards interrogate him and stupidly believe he's an elephant, it's a bunch of wisecracks along with the awesome gameplay that reminds you of that typical N64 stuff, and the fact that the Rare developers decided, after postponing their game 500 times, that they would make this mature game that really does good nowadays. I'm not sure how it was back then, but when he decides that and he makes a masterpiece like this, it's just, words can't even describe it. Now, you guys can say what you want about this game, but this was literally one of my first games that I got for the Nintendo Wii, and this is literally one of the reasons why I had gotten up out of bed early in the morning. You see, this game, it had an amazing storyline with the storybook thing, and they gave it better controls than they did Secret Rings. I honestly did not like the way they handled Secret Rings, but when it comes to this game, it was just incredible. It had an awesome storyline, it had great gameplay, a bunch of unique bosses that referenced all the other characters as well. There were original characters, and then there were the older characters that everyone grew up with. It was just great to see. Along with the fact that Sonic has a sword and it actually works. You see, because a lot of times, say you wanted to give Mario a gun, but that doesn't seem right, and that's pretty much the case if you were to give Sonic a sword, but somehow Sega was able to make it work, so then it turned into this masterpiece of a game. Down to number 8. Now guys, I know what you're thinking. Nintendo already put Star Allies on the Switch. Yes, and you know what? I highly appreciate that game. That game was amazing. It referenced Superstar, and it actually made into that unreleased GameCube sequel. It pretty much mixed Returns to Dreamland with Star Allies, except they separated both games. So, you know, I would either like a sequel or a port of this game on the Switch, because this game was just incredible, an awesome comeback. And in other words, anything that Brady would say that could turn into a meme. This whole thing with all the unique bosses, the bringbacks for power-ups, and some original power-ups, like those super abilities and everything. Plus that awesome storyline. This game was awesome. You know, like there is no one that can tell me that this game isn't good. And the only person that I know that could love this game more is Brady. This and Punch-Out. Speaking of Punch-Out, that is number 7. Well, Punch-Out Wii, anyway. Now, if you guys have seen Brady's review of the game, then you can see that just about anyone could fall in love with this. This was like Nintendo's greatest thing to do with an original NES game, along with a Super Nintendo game that used to be an arcade game. Mainly because they wanted to find a way to use 2 CRT screens, etc., etc. And so, you know, they could make a sequel to this, and honestly, I would like a sequel because of some of the stuff they didn't put in this, and some of the stuff that, you know, had a lot of potential and all. But, you know, that ending for this game, you know, where Mac had retired and all, as if it were for good, you know, that's kind of like the perfect ending. And so, I mean, they could just port this and then add stuff because of that secret, boss that was going to be, Princess Peach, but got removed due to violence towards women, but you know what they say, animal cruelty is always better. So, yeah, I have nothing against women, so, no, I'm just saying that in case that's taken out of context. But yeah, they found a way to make all of the stereotypes of these characters seem like a good thing and not racist like a bunch of other people would say. And, you know, the fact that they make it so you can have somewhat Nintendo controls, or you can use the nunchucks and just use your arms, it's really, really incredible how they do all this. And, you know, when you beat them once, they don't have you stop there. They let you fight them again with more unique moves and everything. You know, like, they went all out on this game, and this is a very worthy game to port to one of the biggest consoles of Nintendo right now. Now, Luigi's Mansion 3 was recently announced for the Nintendo Switch, and I could not be happier about that. But, you know, another thing is, I know damn well that everyone else is thinking the same thing as I am. Why in the hell is Luigi's Mansion 1 getting a port on the 3DS instead of on the Nintendo Switch? You know, we're just gonna ignore the fact that they decide, oh, we have the Switch, we have the good controller, so let's do the 3DS, and, you know, that'll be great. Then we do Luigi's Mansion. No. You could literally do a promotion for Luigi's Mansion 3 by releasing the older one on the Nintendo Switch. You know, because they play the old one on the Switch, then they're gonna want to play the new one. Because they're gonna like the enhanced graphics and all. You know, this game was pretty much made just to test out the limits of the GameCube. You know, it was pretty much just one of those beta things, and then this became like a big success. This game was awesome. You know, you could actually compare this to Super Mario Sunshine and Mario Kart Double Dash. That is how great this game is. Now, of course, there are some people who have their complaints. Talking to you, Brady. But, you know, there's also a lot of people who like the puzzles, who like going through the house and finding the ghosts and everything, and then seeing what uniqueness comes to the new boss. Alright, down to number 5. The memories I've had with this game can go on forever and ever. This is literally one of the best things, well, racing-wise, since Mario Kart. And you know, they've had sequels that they planned on making, but then it got scrapped, and it was supposed to feature Tiny Kong and I think Kiddy Kong as well. But you know, it got canceled, and you know that's sort of upsetting. But I mean, they could either make a sequel or port this and all. Now, one thing I forgot to bring up when talking about Conker is how Nintendo is going to manage putting the Rareware characters in. Well, it seems that lately Nintendo has been pretty chummy with Microsoft, so I mean, you know, they can easily get Banjo-Kazooie or Conker or anyone else that's Rare related, you know, and they can race alongside Diddy Kong and all of them. They can bring all the characters back, add some more characters. It would be a very great addition to it, and if you guys think that it shouldn't happen because of Mario Kart, I mean, we have Crash Team Racing and Sonic Team Racing and all. So, I mean, it wouldn't be bad to see, you know, like, we also have that Nickelodeon Kart Racers game, and people put bad reviews on that, and I mean, though I don't blame them, it's still a racing game, you know, it's just race your friends and all. It's something to have fun with, and, you know, the fact that I can feel this way about something that looks very kiddish and everything, you know, it's that good of a game. And I would highly recommend, like, you know, whether you have an emulator or 64, I really recommend you go pick this game up, because it is a blast. Now, everyone who has played or at least heard of Mario 64 definitely agrees with me when I say that this game needs to be on the Switch. Whether it be an HD remake, whether it be the exact game ROM like they did for Virtual Arcade, I don't care which, but this game was awesome. Like, even their DS port, they were able to get their DS port and add more characters to add some unique stuff to it. You know, they had Yoshi, Luigi, even Wario got his chance to be playable in this game. And, you know, they did great with this. It's like a very unique game, and even though you may hear that back then it didn't do as good as GoldenEye or Mario Kart or whatever, nowadays this game is extremely big. And I am serious, this could be like one of the #1 Mario games, if not the newer ones nowadays, because of how great the soundtrack is, how great all the levels are, how they can make you fight some of the same bosses, but, you know, still have fun with it. You know, you can replay a lot of levels, like that slide level. Those slide levels never get old. You get to a point where you get your DS or you want to get that online hack thing and race your friends on the slides because of how fun it is. Next one. This is a game that brought a brand new meaning to the Street Fighter titles. Street Fighter 4 is by far one of my favorite Street Fighter games of all time. Now, why 4 and not 5 to be ported to Switch? Well, I haven't played enough 5, and I mean, the fact that I have it on PC, it's pretty laggy. So, I'd have to wait till I went on console and everything, and I mean, for now, I mean, you look at all this, you know, you don't need a story mode or anything to enjoy this game. Because you're in arcade mode, you get these awesome animated intros and the endings, you know, it used to just be you get these endings and all. So you can tell that Capcom had went all out with this game. You know, the new and old characters that are brought into it, and the fact that they can bring all the awesome movesets. They have everyone go after the same villain like usual, you know, like in the old ones it's Bison, in this one it's Seth. You know, they They even made a movie that was animated in the same style just to promote this thing, and even made that badass. You know, usually movies based on games don't do that good. And when they did it on this, it was just incredible. You know, like, I cannot get over how well they had done this game, brought all of the characters' personalities into this to a point where people can understand it better, and, you know, just make things... I don't even have the right words to describe this. It was an awesome game back when I first got it, and it still is. Now, there are many people who are unfamiliar with this game unless, you know, they were very into Newgrounds or just happened to come across it on the PlayStation and the Xbox. But at some point, it got at least popular enough to get a remastered on, you know, Xbox One and PC and all. This game was literally one of the greatest beat-em-ups I had ever played. Hell, this is the game that got my sister into video games in the first place, because she saw me playing this, and then wanted to play with me. Like, any other game, it would be like, hey Anna, you want to play? And she's like, no, I don't like video games. I don't like video games. They suck. And then this came along, and then she saw me playing it, and then every single time she came over, I want to play the game. I want to play the game. I want to play the game. It is awesome. Can we please play that game? You know, and it's like, even without much of a storyline to go by, besides bad guys kidnap the princess and the heroes have to go save them, typical Link and Mario stuff there, you know, that's all you really get. And then when you get to the princesses, you pretty much fight your friends to the death and all after beating the crap out of a lot of people and working hard. It just doesn't stop. It's fun, it's comedic, you know, it's like Streets of Rage or better. You know, if you're into the beat-em-ups and all, and the 2D platformers from Genesis and all that, this is highly recommended, if not the Scott Pilgrim beat-em-up. For those of you who don't know, I absolutely love the Shantae games, and Risky's Revenge is no exception at all. Now, a lot of people say that Pirate's Curse was the best one, but honestly, I like Half Genie Hero, and then Risky's Revenge was next on my list. It's just something about it, I don't know, I just really like this game, and the fact that this got Nintendo Power, you know, this got on the cover of Nintendo Power, well, Shantae did at least, and the fact that this was #1 on DSiWare and all, it's like no shock at all, because this game is absolutely amazing. It adds that whole 3D movement where you can move from one platform to another, and you know, this wasn't 3DS or anything. They have all the unique bosses, and they have an awesome storyline that follow a Game Boy Color game that wasn't that much of a success because it came out like right at the end of Game Boy Color's lifespan. You know, the characters are always fun to interact with, and you know, they can be relatable at times. It's like very fun and adorable. It has everything that a 2D platformer needs. And I feel that this is one of the greatest choices for a port on Nintendo Switch. You know, because this was on PS4, and I think it was released on Xbox One, but, you know, most importantly, it was on 3DS, and then you get a director's cut on the laptop. So I feel that they should definitely put this on the Switch, due to the fact that, well, I mean, shit, she's pretty much the most popular indie character there is. If not, then it's Shovel Knight. So, thank you guys for taking your time to listen to my opinions and all for ports on the Switch and all. This has been the top 10 ports for Nintendo Switch. This is He-Man 1010, signing off.